I'm Terry Owens. On this edition of MTA Commuter Connections, we'll show you how MTA is gearing up to get you to Pimlico for the Preakness. There's also a new way to purchase MARC train and commuter bus passes online, and we'll introduce you to MTA's Bus Operator of the Year. All that and much more on this edition of MTA Commuter Connections. Welcome to MTA Commuter Connections. For this edition, we're on location at Pimlico, home of the 138th running of the Preakness. You certainly know it's spring in our region when we start talking about the second jewel of the Triple Crown and returning here to Old Hilltop. And could this be the year that we finally see a Triple Crown winner? The Preakness, always a great day of fun for race fans, and obviously a very busy day for our first guest. Tom Chukis is the president of the Maryland Jockey Club, and he joins us to talk about the event. Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So once again, the eyes of the world will focus on Baltimore. Talk about this event and what it means not only for the city, but the state of Maryland.
I think there are a lot of people that benefit from the Preakness. I mean, you can start with the state. All eyes of the world are on us. We put our best foot forward. We show us what really the state is all about. From when you come into the airport, you travel here and so on. For the city of Baltimore, downtown is vibrant. The hotels are booked. The restaurants are filled. People have a great experience. And last is Pimlico. It's historic. It's traditional. But even the old girl here has some warts on it. Let's say everyone comes and has a fantastic day.
Talk about this racetrack's place in the history of horse racing.
I mean, arguably, behind the Kentucky Derby, it is the second most famous, most historic race in the world today. It's been here for many, many years, over 200 years, the Jockey Club. And it's the second biggest day in racing. Right after the Kentucky Derby is the Preakness. And everybody, to win a Triple Crown, you got to come through Baltimore. So we get the best of the best horses, the best trainers, and the best jockeys. And it is just a fabulous day.
What kind of a driver is this for the economy, the local economy?
We can have a debate, but studies have shown that it generates an economic impact specifically to Baltimore County, and the state, anywhere from $30 to $60 million for the week in question. It's our Super Bowl. Every year it's our Super Bowl.
Yeah. And what people should know is that this is not just a one-day event. As you said, you've got activities spread out over an entire week?
That's correct. I mean, this year for a first, we have a kickoff party down at Pier 6. Phil Vassar will be playing. It's kind of for Baltimore to get on board. It opens Preakness week up. You have the draw on Wednesday. You have the Alibi Breakfast Thursday morning. Thursday night, there's a party in downtown. And then you start on Friday with the real racing, is Black-Eyed Susan Day. And Saturday you move into Preakness. And for Black-Eyed Susan Day, it's a little different. We've always had the great racing and so on. We're going to open up this infield on Friday at about 2 o'clock. We have the Goo Goo Dolls headlining with a couple other bands. So we're going to kind of take what we do on Preakness Day and kind of move it into Friday. And hopefully in a year or two we'll have a weekend event. You come in and you have a fantastic day.
That entertainment package that you reference is a fairly recent development out here. Talk about the difference that it's made in helping you attract perhaps the non-racing fan to the Preakness.
Well, 2008 was the last year that we had basically the BYOB. You could bring your own. In 2009 we started to limit that, take it away. We recognized from a corporate perspective for our guests, especially for the younger people, we had to do something. So, I mean, you've seen over the years, we've had OAR and Zach Brown, we've had Bruno Mars and Train, last year Maroon 5 and Wiz Khalifa as headliners. So what we try to do is, the Preakness is still the focus, the racing is still the focus, but I get people in the infield, last year over 50,000, that come and enjoy the races, but you see fabulous music acts. I mean, take a look this year. The headliner on the main stage is Pitbull, you have Macklemore and Lewis, you have Afrojack. On the second stage you have a little different genre, you have Chevelle, you have Florida Georgia Line and a local group that opens in the morning, Kristen and the Noise. We're working with the Baltimore Sports. They're going to have some flag football and so on out there. You've got Wagering 101. It's just a day that if you're a race fan, you have everything you could possibly want. If you're not, it's probably the best event in the Mid-Atlantic to come to and have some fun. And we've done a really good job. My staff is fabulous.
You guys work year-round at this thing, and I can imagine there's probably something that's been tweaked that the longtime race fan is going to walk in and go, wow, that's a little different this year.
Well, I mean, you're standing in one of the changes. We made the winner's circle used to be very small and antiquated. We've opened it up, made it look a lot better. We've spent time trying to fix different things. It's tough with this building because it is so old. We spent a lot of money on HVAC and air conditioning on the inside. But you'll see some changes. Under Armour continues to grow out in the infield as a representative for the state and a partner of ours. The International Pavilion this year is going to be sponsored by Japan. Japan will be the host country. We've done that for a couple years. Overall, we just try to keep elevating the experience, and we take the comments at the end of each year. We do the good, the bad, and the ugly routine, and we try to improve it. And I think based on public review and press review in the last couple of years, the city's happy, the county's happy, and the state's happy. That will sustain the industry in this state. And if we continue to work together, the commission has been a driving force, obviously, but the horsemen, the breeders, and the track, I think we can get it back to where we need to get it back to.
All right. Tom Shook is president of the Maryland Jockey Club. Thank you so much for joining us on MTA Commuter Connections. Looking forward to a great race.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we'll take a quick break. Be back in just a moment.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If your home was built before 1978, it could contain harmful lead paint. Learn the danger zones. Protect your kids. Visit leadfreekids.org.
Welcome back, everybody. This is MTA Commuter Connections. I'm your host, Terry Owens, and we are broadcasting from Old Hilltop, Pimlico, home of the Preakness, and we are getting ready. We've got tens of thousands of people headed out for this year's race, and here to talk about how the MTA is going to help get people to the racetrack is Mr. James Means, who is Deputy Director of Bus Transportation. Mr. Means, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
The MTA seems to get a little better each time one of these big events come around. We've seen it with the Grand Prix. We've seen it with Celebration. You guys are just figuring out a better way of moving people through these big events, and I suspect the Preakness is going to be no different.
Preakness won't be any different, and you know the MTA is fortunate that we have people that have been here with the MTA 20 plus years. So they're bringing 20 plus years of experience on moving people, which is what we do. And their expertise has actually got down to a science. You know, we can shuttle, 200 or 300 people every 10 to 15 minutes. And so it really is a science at this point. And we're encouraging people to take the rail, light rail and metro, and use parking rides either up at Timonium or wherever they're coming in from. Take light rail from there, bring it down, and then we'll pick you up at Rogers Station or we'll pick you up at Old Court, and we want to have a continual loop of bringing people as soon as they get off of the rail. We put them on bus, we bring them here, and then at the end, when the event is over, we send them back out and we take them back. So the combination between using bus and rail, I think we can accommodate the community and all the people that are coming from miles and miles away for this event.
Sounds like a huge shuttle operation. How far in advance do you all start planning for something like this?
We started planning the day after the Preakness last year.
Get out of here.
So because we anticipate this event, and it's such a popular event, and we want to show Baltimore in its best light. Mm-hmm. So the better we are, the more advantageous the people will come into Baltimore, knowing that their transportation needs are covered by the MTA. Yeah. So we pride ourselves at the MTA of delivering that customer service, because we're bringing people that are coming from other transit systems, and they're used to their systems, and we want to showcase, the MTA as the best system in the nation. So when you come here, we won't let you down. We're going to give you that same level of service that you would get from any city that you're coming from. Even we have people coming from Europe.
Yeah, that's we heard Mr. Chuka say in the first segment that the eyes of the world literally are going to be on Baltimore. Now, you touched on the shuttle operation that the MTA is going to be running that day, and we'll have our buses going to the park and rides and the major drop-off points.
Major drop-off points, and they're coming over, and we'll be dropping them off just outside of the gates here, and they'll be coming in. What kind
of vehicles are you going to use for those?
We're going to use the Excelsiors, and we're also going to use the Arctics. And the Arctics, we can get 80, 90 people on each one.
Okay.
And they'll just be running back and forth in a continual loop. So you probably won't wait no more than 15 minutes. If you get off a light rail or get off a metro and you don't see a bus sitting there, then there'll be one there in a matter of minutes. Okay. And in most cases, last year it worked so well that it was timed as the trains would arrive. We'd have a fleet of buses, and we also have, there's more players in this because we have, our volunteers and people that are actually working in the different parts, and they're directing people as they come off. They're directing them to the buses. They're getting them seated. The bus is pulling out, and they're directing the other one. They're pulling right behind it. So it's a continual loop that goes on all the way, until the last one. And then we stop after the Preakness is over and the festivities are over. Then we do the same thing in reverse. We pick them up, they line up, and we roll them right out and take them right back to where they came from.
Now, does the staff get as excited about these events as the public does? I mean, I know people are looking forward to getting out here. How do employees gear up for something like this?
I would say, if you would have saw the buses from last year, this is how excited they get. Our maintenance people, and they pride themselves in showcasing their equipment. The buses had Armor All on the tires. So if you can imagine, we're bringing it's just, the best of the best. And that's how excited they are, that we're being showcased in that light, because we don't normally armor all the tires on our buses. Yes. But the ones that we brought out to the Preakness, they were spotless. They were smelling good and they were looking good. And I don't think that the administrator or the governor could ask for any more than what we were giving them. Yeah. And that's what we wanted.
And you referenced Arctics. Arctics, those are our longer buses. What is it, 60 feet?
Yeah, and they slink. They twist in the middle.
Sort of accordion in the middle.
Yeah. Those, because of the number of people that you can actually pick up on those, I guess that's the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And our operators, we used retirees last year. The operator force, you're looking at people with 30, 40 years of experience of working with the public, and hopefully we'll be able to use them again this year. And they just provide a professional service. They had a professional attire. Their customer service skills were up to par. So we couldn't ask for any better.
Mr. Means, thank you so much for joining us here at Pimlico. We look forward to all that you guys are doing to get us ready for the Preakness.
Oh, you're welcome, Terry.
All right. MTA's greatest assets, as you've heard Mr. Means say, is its employees. Their dedication and hard work help hundreds of thousands of people reach their destinations each and every day. Some of those employees were recognized in a special ceremony recently, including MTA's Top Operator of the Year. They are considered the best of the best. MTA's top operators were recognized recently in a ceremony at the Eastern Division. This is the second year of the event, and Administrator Rollin Wells says he could not be more proud of this year's winners.
It really touched me to see how proud they were about their accomplishments and the fact that we are recognizing them.
The winners were picked based on strict performance criteria. Each operator based on their performance in categories such as attendance, logging onto the system, accidents, and commendations. Union officials were among those on hand.
To have an award ceremony, to have things in place to give them to show your appreciation as a leadership towards your members or towards your employees. They are our members as union, but employees, I think it's a great thing.
The program recognized 8 distinguished operators of the year, each receiving a trophy and special recognition. The top prize, the Operator of the Year award, went to a 22-year veteran of the agency, Tony Brown of the Northwest Division.
I was amazed and shocked. It really was unexpected. but it's a great honor.
In accepting his award, Brown said he really enjoys interacting with his passengers and getting people to their destination safely. He also said programs like this go a long way with his peers.
I think it helps the employees because it gives all of us recognition for what we do.
The program also recognized the top division of the year, that honor going to the Eastern Division. The competition has already begun for bragging rights next year. And we'll take a quick break, be back in just a moment.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And welcome back to MTA Commuter Connections. I'm Terry Owens. Say, have you ever wondered how new transit service is initiated, or perhaps how enhancements or changes to already existing service occurs? Well, it begins in the MTA Department of Service Development, and Michael Walk is the acting director of that department, and he joins us now to talk a little bit about that behind-the-scenes stuff that everybody wonders about, and you're here to shed some light on. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Michael, when you guys start thinking about what you can do to enhance service or maybe rethink some routes, how do you get your input to make those decisions?
Well, our input comes from a lot of different places. A lot of it comes from customers, actually. We get customer complaints or customer requests for new services. Businesses call us up and ask us, we're opening a business here, we want to add a bus line, anything like that. As well as officials in the community also send in those requests to us. So it's an ongoing process where we try to listen to what people are asking for and respond as best we can.
Well, I'm really excited to hear that the public is allowed to play a part in this process. And how are some of the ways that people can get information to you that can then be incorporated into your decision-making process?
There's a lot of different ways. We take the comment line that's provided for all MTA customers. They can call into there and file a request, and that gets to us. Mm-hmm. Also, if there's service issues that my office can address, a bus is always running late, things like that might require an adjustment to a schedule, calling the complaint line gets to us. Also, through other feedback mechanisms like Rate Your Ride, sending a letter to the MTA. All that communication comes in and then gets distributed to whoever can address the issue.
Okay, for people who don't know a lot about our bus service, our local bus service, give us a sense of how we compare to entities across the country.
Our bus system is actually pretty large compared to other transit systems in the nation. We rank in the top 20 of nationwide transit agencies. We operate over 600 vehicles during our peak time, 62 bus lines. We carry 250,000 people a day. So we're actually quite large.
Do you think the public has a real appreciation for the magnitude of the amount of service you provide? Because that's 24/7.
Right, it's a 24/7 operation, and it's a challenge to truly communicate about how big the service really is and how complicated it is. There's a lot of moving parts out there. Just for example, we have over 1,200 operators that are driving buses on different days of the week, all with unique work schedules and work assignments every single day. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of little things that have to connect together.
That sounds like an awful lot to manage.
It is a lot to manage, it certainly is.
Wow. Now, service development, are you also responsible for things like, say, MARC train or light rail, or are you?
Well, actually, we do get involved a little bit with the rail modes and the non-bus modes. For instance, service development produces the Google Transit data for all the modes that MTA provides, so that somebody can go online and plan their transit trip through the Google Transit Trip Planner.
Okay.
But in terms of actually designing the system, service development designs a system for the core bus system, for light rail and for metro. The other modes manage their own designs.
Okay. Now, will you guys have a hand in the upcoming events here at Preakness? We've got the big race coming up. Will service development play a role in that?
We actually do play a role, mostly on a data collection end. We are making sure that we get accurate passenger counts this year. So all of our systems are, all of our buses are equipped with a system called a passenger counter, automated passenger counter. So we're involved to help make sure that those buses get distributed out here for Preakness and make sure we get a good idea how many people actually use the service to get here.
Okay, you touched on something a little earlier that I want to go back to as we were talking about ways that people can communicate with the system, and I know you've been a huge champion of the Rate Your Ride program. Talk a little bit about that and how you see that growing going forward.
That's a great question. With the Rate Your Ride program, so far we've collected over 12,000 pieces of data from over 4,000 unique individuals throughout the whole system. And we've been using that data in combination with other data streams that we have. We've already made some improvements to a bus route number 11 and bus route 35 that were prioritized because partly due to what Rate Your Ride users said. And we're going through that process again where we're about ready to select new routes for improvement based on that stream of data as well as others we have internally. My hope is that it'll continue to grow, riders will continue to be involved. We're also encouraging in particular Baltimore City public school students to be involved. We're actually putting the Rate Your Ride information on the back of their passes to help encourage their feedback as well, because they're a very vital component of the transit network.
And for the person who hasn't been quite ready to embrace public transit, what do you say to them?
I would say get out and try it. The reality is that once you make the step to learn about how the system works, it's just like learning how to drive. You learn where to go and how to get there, and then you get comfortable with it. So I would say get out and try it. We provide trip planners, a lot of resources for you. So give it a try.
All right, Michael. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I know you've got your hands full over there in service development, but we appreciate what you're doing.
I think it's good to be here.
All right. Well, here at the MTA, we are always looking for ways to make things more convenient for passengers. And thanks to the web, MARC train and commuter bus passengers now have a new, more convenient way to purchase tickets. It's called Commuter Direct.
Every day, thousands of commuters across the state utilize the many modes of transportation offered by the MTA. And with those means of travel come the task of buying tickets for those services. Well, that task has become easier. Introducing CommuterDirect.com, an online service designed to consolidate MARC and commuter bus ticketing.
The website is definitely more convenient. I truly believe that over time the customers are going to come to like this new website. It offers a lot more features than our old website. It's definitely more user-friendly.
Here's how it works. Go to the website mta.commuterdirect.com and purchase one-day, weekly, or monthly passes for use on MARC and commuter buses.
The monthly passes for commuter bus as well as MARC can be used on our local service as a flash pass. Down in the Washington area, if they want to, if they transfer from MARC or commuter bus to, let's say, Washington D.C.'s Metro or their commuter bus program, they can purchase what's called a TLC, and the TLC will allow them to ride our service, the commuter bus and MARC, as well as local service in the D.C. area.
The website offers split credit card payments and renewable orders. It also accepts smart benefits, vouchers, and employee-sponsored credit cards.
Split payments are basically using two forms of payments to pay for your purchase. In the past, these employees would have to fax into us their orders and their credit card information on a monthly basis. The new website allows them to set up an account and to set up split payments using their Transfer Visa card as well as their personal credit card.
The newly designed MARC train tickets and commuter bus passes will continue to be sold by Quick Track Machines, Amtrak, and Commuter Direct ticket agents. To find out more about the new ticketing service, visit www.mta.commuterdirect.com or by calling 410-697-2212.
And coming up, it's our Ask the MTA segment. We'll answer your questions and concerns next.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
Hello, I'm Ron Mears, Project Manager of the Office of Service Oversight. Here is our first question.
How you doing? My name is Dante Norton. My main question is the single tracking during the evening and night hours before you guys actually shut down. Why do you do it?
Single tracking is necessary to keep our service moving. You may have a disabled train, and in order to get around that disabled, we would have to use single tracker. That means we would cross over to another track and then back to the original track. And this will cause some delay, but should not cause a lot of delay. Next question.
Hi, I work down at Johns Hopkins Hospital, and my concern with the Metro is safety at the Hopkins station in the afternoon when the children get off of school. They're very unruly down on the platform, pushing and shoving, holding doors, which is like totally frustrating for the driver because there's not much they can do about it. And I think they do need more police presence there and be able to effectively do something about that situation.
Yes, it is possible to have more police there. Our MTA police force does an outstanding job, and on a daily basis they review their deployment of manpower. Also, any complaints can be given to our station managers, who in turn will notify the police, and the police will make the adjustments necessary to eliminate the problem. Next question.
Okay, my name is Jay. I just wanted to know why half of the time the escalator don't work.
Many times the escalators, it's not broken, and many times it's the disruptions caused by school kids hitting the switch and causing the escalator not to work. When this happens, it is necessary for the MTA team that has control of the escalator to come and reset the escalator. We appreciate your questions. If you have a question you would like to ask the MTA, visit the MTA website at mta.maryland.gov for a convenient TV show link, or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.
And that's going to do it for this edition of MTA's Commuter Connections. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Terry Owens. We'll see you next time.